Welcome back to my series of MCU film reviews. Last time I have completed reviewing phase 1 and 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That was all a lead up to Infinity War, but now we've seen the trailer for Endgame and we are more excited than ever. It's a new year and we're just about a few months away from Endgame, and so I'm now continuing this whole build up, starting off with Captain America Civil War. And this is directed by Russo Brothers once again, and I classify this film as sort of Avengers 2.5 really, because it has everyone except Hulk and Thor. But you have no choice but to choose sides, Team Cap or Team Iron Man. There is political pressure. Roger thinks that superheroes should be free to defend people without any interference, whereas Stark confesses that that they need to be put in check. This film is the film that did it for me. It sucked me right into the MCU film and the hype was unreal. Spider-Man was officially joining the universe, Black Panther was in, it was an all-out war, and it reminded myself of when I watched this film in cinema completely alone, and it was heaven, and it did not disappoint at all. Russo Brothers and the MC Universe, they are literally masters of bringing many characters on the screen, with every single person in that film having their moment. But this film primarily focuses on Stark and Rogers, but you care equally about each character. Both are going through a lot in this film. Like Iron Man, there is a Stark Foundation scene where the last time that we see his parents, he is a very de-aged character, obviously, the whole hologram thing. Where the last time that he sees his parents, it's painful to watch, and it really does give that emotional impact in the film, and it really does stretch it out throughout the entire film, which I'll get to in a bit. But the breakup with Pepper, how that's affected him, how he struggled to read it off from the teleprompter. Obviously that was a mistake, and he realizes that, and it's just heart-wrenching really. Finding out the chaos that Avengers have done back in Avengers Age of Ultron, and how a very smart person, very smart boy died, and he was confronted by that boy's mother at the Foundation scene. So that was really tough to watch, and it just hooks you right in the film. But now let's talk about Captain America, about what he's been going through this entire film. Obviously, Peggy Carter's death, that is a very, very, very heartbreaking scene when that happens. His friendship with Bucky, he is trying to protect his friend, he's worried about him, and he wants no harm done to his pal, his 70-year-old pal, that 70-year-old friendship. But yes, it's really standing up for what he believes in, and that's just something that you just have to respect. But this film is mostly about friendship, and how trusting someone and how a relationship with that certain friend can affect everyone around that person. It's about wanting revenge, how those two things colliding can give problems. There are many consequences throughout the entire film, the political side and the human side. Aside from all these action scenes and showdowns, that thing itself is just extremely interesting. This film, yes, is a high-budget superhero film. That's what you expect. One thing that I was very, very happy about was how much I cared about all these larger-than-life superheroes. And that's the thing that I love about these MCU films, man. It's just so pleasing to watch that. And this is the reason why this is my MCU film. This is my favorite MCU film. I think it's better than Infinity War. I said it. I love this film. This film, all characters, you see each and every one of their motivations, and I haven't seen that since the Dark Knight trilogy. It's that good. There are many classic moments to look back at in this film. Why it stood out to me as being one of the best. Introducing new characters like Black Panther. I don't know anything about this person. I knew nothing. I looked at him, and Chadwick Boseman, he's gone through something massive in this film. His father has obviously been murdered, and you completely sympathize for his character straight away. And from then, it just gets better and better. Seeing the suit for the first time, it's fantastic to see him in action, chasing down Bucky and Captain America in the driveway scene. amazing stuff. And I have to give the stunt team major props because they do go overlooked. But the thing that I was very nervous about, Spider-Man. I was very nervous, but I loved how nervous I was because I was so excited. This was probably one of the reasons why I got into MCU films. Before watching this film, I actually had to remind myself about what these films were. And in order to really care about each and every character, I had to go back and watch every single MCU film in order to anticipate myself for this one. And I was there, man. I was there. Spider-Man, Tom Holland was incredible, as always in the past few films that he has been in. This was an amazing incarnation of Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, including 3, and since then I've been very disappointed, but this just picked me right back up, man. His character is so accurate to the comic books. I'm not really much of a comic book sort of person. I just love great films. But we see this character, we see Peter Parker just strolling in. He's wearing a pizza shirt, which is, by the way, iconic.
Pizza time. He's
a dumpster diver. His suit sucks. It's just awful. And it's like a dumpster diving suit. He's wearing these goggles. Tony Stark's making fun of him. The chemistry from then is fantastic. It is literally on point. It's like a father figure. Tony Stark is like a father figure to Peter Parker, and you see that right away. It's such a great scene when these two meet and when he wants to recruit Peter Parker, because it sort of fits in. Because there was one time, obviously, I think you guys know about this, it was partially improvisation from Robert Downey Jr. because he's a kid. Tom Holland is pretty much a kid, and although he may have done a mistake in the scene, Downey Jr. actually fixes that by improvising and says,
"I'm going to sit here so you move the leg."
That wasn't meant to happen, but it works so perfectly. It's just so good. And I had no idea that was improvisation, but it was perfect. So really, Black Panther and Spider-Man's introduction to this film was, I thought it was perfect. Nothing else I would do to improve that. I thought it was just stellar job by the Russo Brothers. It was insane. And let's talk about the airport scene. Come on, how iconic this airport scene was. It's a mixture of comedy, seriousness, and some dialogues are just absolutely hilarious. You see the chemistry with all these characters. You see Bucky and Falcon. There's a lot of comic relief there. And of course, Ant-Man, he nailed it. Paul Rudd, you literally nailed it. He was obviously ginormous in this film. He was absolutely huge in this film, literally huge in the film. And just seeing that and seeing other people's reactions in that scene, I loved it, man. The shaky cameras is something that I would address. I think it works with this film. This film is such a important, quick pace. It's just a very crucial film, and I think the shaky camera works to make it more dramatic, to make it more rushed, which isn't a bad thing because there's a lot of it's action packed, and so it works. It works. Guys, I don't have any problem with this film. Some people would say that Captain America's character was a little bit off, but I would disagree because he is literally risking his life for his best friend. That's what he did in Winter Soldier as well, and that worked. And so I don't see that being a problem. I see that as just his character having more depth because of how much he cares about Bucky. And Bucky's character gets even more higher with importance. And so with that worked for me. The ending scene, very emotional. It was a very, very emotional scene because you see the iconic Tony Stark literally watching his parents die. And whereas you would perhaps look at, and perhaps obviously you would obviously sympathize for Iron Man, but it doesn't mean that Bucky's character is a villain. I think that this film really doesn't have a villain in this film. I really don't think there's a villain. Yes, you could perhaps argue that Daniel Bruhl's character is the mastermind. He controls Bucky's character with the diary, but even he's doing it for a reason. Even he's doing it for a good purpose. Black Panther in the film says it himself.
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
I think it was just a beautiful thing to see, and watching this film alone with no one else, just me in the theater, that did it for me. That did it for me even more. I love this film. I think it is better than Infinity War. I'm just saying. And it deserves a perfect 5 out of 5 score. I love this film. It is one of the trilogies that each film just gets better. Winter Soldier is perhaps my favorite solo film in the Marvel Universe. But Russo Brothers did it for me again. They just get better and better. What did you guys think about Civil War? Let's get it talking. Let's get some people talking. Do you think it was perhaps the best Captain America film? Because I think it is. Your thoughts down below, and I'll see you guys soon.